Serve with integrity. What was your reaction when you first heard our class motto, serve with integrity? For most of us, it came at the conclusion of the plebe hike, an event marking the end of Beast Barracks, unless you were assigned to 1st Regiment, or were unfortunate enough to be my roommate. On the shores of Lake Frederick, on a makeshift stage, in conjunction with a combination pep rally and talent show, it was the high point of the event. Designed to create a sense of class unity and identity throughout the years to come, it would be inscribed on our rings and ultimately the centerpiece of a yet future website, exclusively identifying us. It was the result of efforts by some clandestine group of unknown, to me even to this day, classmates pressed into creative service. It was revealed on a great bedsheet, also pressed into service as a banner. It was unfurled before our weary, confused, and wondering eyes. Serve with integrity, class of 70. I confess now that at the time I questioned, serve with integrity, class of 70? To my immature 18-year-old mind, I guess that I had hoped for more. We were, after all, preceded by best in the line 69. It was a motto that truly rhymed. It had a brash declaration of a top place in the long great heritage, a simple pizzazz, and even a sexual connotation to it that at that point of development said it all. Serve with integrity. The class of 70 seemed to fall flat on my 18-year-old ears. But what can you do with 70? I couldn't think of anything that rhymed, that had any pizzazz, and alas, there was no sexual connotation to the number 70 without a great stretch of the imagination. And 7 is the number of created perfection, but that was a religious reference, and it was followed by a 0 that had absolutely no good connotation at that time. Doomed. But what could we do? At least it had a significant sounding word in it that it's taken me decades to begin to understand. It would be decades that I would come to realize what a gift our classmates had given to us. Serve with integrity. Class of 70. What a challenge. But the single most important quest of life. Dr. Erik Erikson is generally regarded and appreciated as the father of modern psychosocial models of human development. And in stages of a man's life, he describes 8 separate and somewhat sequential mental, emotional, and social experiences that become the framework of our development as whole individual persons in the society and the world. Each one of these stages poses a dilemma that we either resolve positively so that we can move on, or we don't, in which case we get stuck in a negative outcome and we stagnate. It is at this point for us, the where we've been, where we are, and where we're going explanation of life, so that we know that this isn't just a filler. It all begins with the common birth experience that I described at the 20th year memorial, and I don't mind repeating now because it was 20 years ago. Some of you weren't here. Those of you who were, like me, haven't the desire or ability to remember anything I said 20 years ago. And that's why we marry, to have both blessing and curse as someone to remind us. Now the prelude to the first stage that sets the stage for all that follows is the Garden of Eden experience prior to birth. And there in the sheltering womb, encased in protecting fluid at a consistent and perfect temperature, the sound of a loud, noisy world mercifully muffled. We don't have to do anything but grow suck a thumb, and kick now and then. Hence the later significance of the brown boy. All that we needed was provided for us in the womb until one day, without so much as a would you mind, we're contracted and squeezed out of the birth canal into an explosion of lights and sounds that pain our sensitive eyes and ears. And our first experience with another human being was, and my wife assures me it's different now, but one of a large green gown giant wearing a mask, holding our head in a huge set of stainless steel vice grips wrapped around our heads and pulling us out of the sanctuary into a freezing cold room. He then proceeds to produce a sharp metal instrument that, relative to us, resembles Excalibur and slices the all-important umbilical, severing us from all hope of returning to our once blissful state. And then, to complete the insult and trauma, we're hung upside down by the heels and slapped around. Our first experience of life was a New York City mugging. And it's out of this basic context that we're expected to develop a sense of basic trust versus mistrust, the first stage. An experience and sense that life isn't perfect, but basically it's good. We're okay, and generally, it's good to be here. And the guiding hand of a protective, loving, nurturing mother is designed to do just that. If successful by age 2, we move on to the stage referred to as autonomy versus shame and doubt. Here, living in a world of kneecaps, dependent and ordered around, we must somehow develop a sense of independence and autonomy and the emergence of ego. And our method is through denial and negation of the power of others over us. No. No, you can't make me. No, I won't. Which explains an awful lot of my early experience here. This theme stays with us, this denial and negation as the basis of the normal human ego and the society it develops, as it is developed through the remainder of the early stages, initiative versus guilt, 3 to 5, industry versus inferiority, 7 to 12, and stage 5, ego identity versus role confusion. Now, this is age 12 to 19, when peer groups and role models become all important to us. And it was during this stage that events transpired that led us here. And at the end, when we became the class of 70, it is also in this stage that we revisit the issues of birth, trust versus mistrust, and ego with negation and denial. That first day here, we were torn again from the womb. We became part of a new family, and it's not without cause that we sing to our alma mater. And no matter how you might feel about it, we are West Pointers, a band of brothers, and part of the long gray line. It's why you're here today. In one shape, form, one way or another, you still feel the grip of its power of hold to your very memory.